Hello and welcome to News Now. The Nigerian Bar Association has asked the 7 judges who are under investigation by the Department of State Services to step aside pending the outcome of investigations against them. Speaking at a valedictory court session that was held in honor of a retiring Justice of the Court of Appeal, Justice Otoye Denton West, the NBA President Abubakar Mahmoud said the decision was part of NBA's commitment to, quote, rid the judiciary of corrupt element. Mahmoud added that the NBA, after consultations with other stakeholders in the administration, also resolved to set up a task force to urgently review the current developments and come up with clear, specific recommendations on how best to clean up the nation's judiciary. The NBA decision is in stark contrast with the previous stance of the judicial body. After the judges were arrested earlier this month, the NBA had demanded their immediate and unconditional release, but it has now taken a different view on the matter. While one of the judges implicated by the DSS, Justice Sylvester Goethe, has alleged that his arrest is in connection with his refusal to help some members of the ruling All Progressives Congress win the governorship election appeals in Ekiti, Rivers and Ebonyi states. Justice Goethe, in a letter dated October 18, which he forwarded to the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, and the National Judicial Council, NJC, specifically mentioned the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, and Minister of Technology, Ogbonnaya, as those that approached him on behalf of the APC. He alleged that the APC begged him to facilitate the removal of Governor Ayodele Fayose of Ekiti State. Now, neither the minister nor both ministers actually are yet to respond to the allegation. Now, a civil society group that wrote several petitions against some of the judges to the NJC has backed the decision of the federal government to arraign the judges in court. President of the Network of Civil Society Against Corruption, Lanre Suraj, says the unwillingness of the NJC to act leaves the government with no choice than to take the judges to court.
The NJC met, rather than also addressing and reviewing some of the allegations and the issues with the judges, NJC only responded almost politically to the issue than actually going into the substance. My expectation naturally would have been for the NJC to have clearly stated that, you know, the committee, there will be a committee that to look at those issues, and then ask, like you now see some of the judges are also going back to the bench to go and sit on some of those cases, on other cases in court. I mean, that is actually unheard of. It impugns on the integrity of the judiciary. So inevitably, I mean, they are accused of criminal offenses. Like I said, there's a money laundering case that is connected with that. There are also other issues that probably the government will be coming up with. So inevitably, the government will have to charge them to court. And I think, like every other citizens, the judges don't have any special immunity to prevent them from being charged with offenses that they are presumed to have actually been committed, so until probably that is decided on by the courts. But this is the appropriate action to take by the government.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has forwarded the names of 46 non-career ambassador nominees to the Nigerian Senate for confirmation. In the letter read out during plenary on Thursday, the President actually sought the consent of the Senate for the confirmation of the nominees. Some of the nominees include retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice George Oguntade of Lagos, former Deputy Governor of Plateau State Pauline Talon, former member of the House of Representatives Usman Bugaje of Katsina, former Deputy Governor of Niger State Ahmed Ibeto, and a former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly and a Senator, Senator Olorunnibe Mamora, and who is, of course, a former Senator in Lagos State. Now, the Nigerian Senate has passed a bill seeking to establish the Northeast Development Commission to be built as part of the country's northeast region now, which has been ravaged by insurgency. The bill passed the third reading on Thursday after earlier disagreements over funding sources and headquarters. After deliberations, the Senate approved the allocation of 3% of value-added tax accrual now to the federal government in the next 10 years for the rebuilding of the Northeast through the proposed commission. It also agreed that the headquarters will be located in Maiduguri, Borno State, Northeast Nigeria. The bill will now be sent to the House of Assembly for concurrence before it will be passed on to the President now for his assent. Nigeria's House of Representatives urged various security agencies to intensify efforts to apprehend and bring to justice all persons involved in the recent attacks in Kaduna State, that's in southern Kaduna actually. The House also urged the federal government and the Kaduna State government to declare a security emergency over continuous attacks on communities in the areas. The resolution followed a motion by Simon Arabo and 5 others who drew attention to the attacks allegedly carried out by Fulani herdsmen, resulting in deaths, injuries, loss of property and displacements from communities. Now, Kaduna State in northwest Nigeria has been hit by a series of deadly attacks lately blamed on herdsmen. The Kaduna State government says it banned the Islamic movement of Nigeria, actually led by Ibrahim El-Zakzaki and not the Shia sect. Samuel Arunwa, spokesperson to the state governor Nasir El-Rufai, said the ban on IMN was misconstrued to mean a ban on the Shia sect. He said the IMN was never a registered organization and it refused to conduct itself with full adherence to the laws of the state. He, however, added that other groups in the Shia tradition are free to practice their creed without infringing on the rights of others, saying that the government did not and cannot ban any religion, but it has a duty to declare as unlawful any group that threatens peace and security. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema says the German government has pledged to increase its investment in Nigeria, mostly in the areas of renewable energy and other non-oil sector. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, Onyema said the assurance from Germany is a result of the meetings between President Muhammadu Buhari and German Chancellor Angela Merkel during his visit to Germany last week. He also said that Buhari received Germany's support on the issue of security and the humanitarian situation of internally displaced persons, as well as the rehabilitation of the Northeast. According to him, Germany is very keen on the provision of assistance to the IDPs.
Regarding the economy, there was a business forum that was also organized. There's a Nigeria-Germany Business Association, and they organized a business forum. And there's a lot of areas, of course, in which we can cooperate. Mr. President pointed out that, German investments in Nigeria date back, so many years. You all know the big German companies that operate in Nigeria, starting from Julius Berger to so many others, and that what we are doing in this country is a big push and a big initiative to have a more friendly environment for investments, for business to come in, and the steps that are being taken to facilitate that, including fiscal monetary steps such as the central bank having the naira exchange rate being more flexible. Of course, he talked about our efforts to diversify the economy and not depend on one single commodity, oil, and that agriculture is very high up there in the priorities for diversification. And renewable energy, he pointed out that Nigeria has acceded to the Paris Agreement on climate change, and we're going to be investing a lot more as we move to a sort of more cleaner energy sources, that the Germans, who are also very strong in this area, could also help us in terms of technology transfer for renewable energy. So he invited them to come. Nigeria is open for business, and that they should come and invest more in the country.
The Nigerian Customs Service says it has dismissed 29 senior officers of the service for various acts of gross misconduct. The service on Thursday said the dismissed officers are among 44 senior officers who were punished for actions capable of compromising national economy and security. A statement signed by Customs spokesperson Wale Adeniyi says the affected officers include 4 Deputy Controller of Customs, 5 Assistant Controller, 7 Chief Superintendents and 4 Superintendents, among others. It comes a week after the service dismissed 17 junior officers for offences bordering on bribery, drug addiction, use of fake certificates and absence from duty. Prince Ehenede Erediawa was on Thursday crowned the 39th Oba of Benin Kingdom at a colorful ceremony in Benin. Prince Erediawa was crowned at about 2 a.m. by the Usama Nihiran, also known as the Edion, led by Chief Oliha. Other members of the Edion are Edonhe, Ezomo, Ero, Eholo, Nere, Eloton, and Edaiken. The ceremony was attended by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the Minister of Information Lai Mohammed, some traditional chiefs, and some state governors. He was presented the staff of office by outgoing Governor of Edo State, Adams Oshiomhole, but his new name has not been revealed. Actually, we understand that name has been revealed now, and that the new Oba of Benin would be known as Ewara II. Now, the Nigerian Police Force says it is organizing a special training basically to reform and reposition the officers and men of the force attached to the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. The training is against the backdrop of widespread reports of police brutality and high-handedness on unsuspecting civilians whom they ironically should be protecting. Speaking at the event in Abuja, Deputy Inspector General of Police Operations Joshua Kabila said the 3-day training runs simultaneously in all 12 zonal commands across the country.
The expectation of the Nigerian police is that these officers and men that have been put together for further training to awaken their knowledge in human rights issues, treatment of suspects, and some other sundry things that will avoid bringing up friction between the police and members of the public. Now, I expect that there will be an improved police community service. Trust and confidence of members of the public will be built regarding police activities, and members of the public will truly see a police of theirs and collaborate in partnership with them by volunteering information and actually leaning and joining hands to make sure that we rout criminals in our society.
I just firmly believe that if we are talking about police brutality and we continue to agonize about it without organizing, there might not be any change. And hence, the essence of this training taking place simultaneously all over the country by Nigerians United Against Terror is to bring out the best from the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, to enhance police-citizens relationship, to let people restore confidence in the police force, for the people who are undergoing the training to know that the era of impunity is gone. And in the interest of growth and development in our country and change that we all want to embrace, I think that this training is critical, is necessary, and it should not come later than today. So what we want to achieve at the end of the training is to have a new brand Nigerian police force, especially the Special Anti-Robbery Squad.
The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ, invites professional Nigerian journalists and team of journalists, full or part-time, with stories published between the 4th of October 2015 and the 3rd of October 2016 to submit entries for the 11th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. Award categories include print, radio, television, photo, online, and editorial cartoon. Submission deadline Monday 24th October 2016 by 4 p.m. All entries to be submitted at the WSCIJ office, number 18A, Abiodun Shobanjo Street, off Latif Jakonde Road, Agidimbi, Ikeja, Lagos. For more information, please visit wscij.org or call 0908-251-5179. Investigative reporting is the vital force for the restoration of human dignity. One nation can.
Welcome back. One-time Minister of Health in Nigeria, Julius Adeluyi, has called on the federal government to always put professionals in the management of the country's endowed resources for the benefits of all. Adeluyi made the call in Lagos at the investiture of Outstanding Female by the Professional Excellence Foundation of Nigeria. He says Nigeria's economic recession is not caused by the leadership problem alone, but not using the right people in the management of the country's resources. Ganiu Koledoye, the Vice Chairman of the Professional Excellence Foundation of Nigeria, says it is important for government to engage core professionals in areas that require expertise and not compromise standard.
The problem of Nigeria may be very many, and among them is the issue of leadership and the issue of corruption that has been advertised. But the real problem with Nigeria is management. Management of our resources, management of our challenges, and management of our plans. And the only way you can have people who have management sense would be to find out professionals who have a sense of management. And professionals will have to be qualified for the profession that they have chosen. They will have to have experience, and they must be persons who have character. Character is very central to good management. A person who has character will respect himself, respect others, and take responsibility for his actions. A person of character will be very ethical. He would be happy to have his needs satisfied. Despite all the challenges, despite all the activities which they are involved in, they are still able to concentrate and get to the top of their profession. And that is basically what we are learning from them, how they've managed to do it. And they've told you, the first thing is be educated, be professionally qualified, obey the ethics of your profession, and practice with dignity and integrity. And these are the lessons we have learned from them, because they are our role models. And then we are celebrating them while they are still alive today, because we want to learn from them. We believe that this country needs professionals. Real professionals, that is those people who believe in the ethics of their profession, who practice the ethics, who are not corrupted by society, who believes that being first means doing things well at all times. That is what we are celebrating today.
Now, former Director General of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Dr. Ndi Okereke-Onyeukwe, who spoke on the topic of professionalism and ethics, condemned the recent raid and arrest of judges by the DSS over alleged corrupt practices.
You give respect where the respect is due. I'm not saying that a judge that I detest any judge that will take bribe to do his work. Like I said inside there, throughout my 27 years in the stock exchange, no human being in Nigeria or anywhere can get up and say that I took something from them. But if you have documentary evidence that this judge did something wrong, unethical, unprofessional, or against society, you can still call him in without what they do is debasing the human being. And if you debase the human being, you also debase the profession he belongs to. And that profession law and their position as judges has distinguished them. They preside over you and I. You may be an aeronautics engineer. I am a highly, thoroughbred financial professional and stockbroker. But I'll give respect to somebody who has to decide in a case I have with somebody else. I give respect. And if that decision comes against me, I accept. Okay, I accept. So what people were talking about is, it is not that they went to harass them, but the timing was wrong, the publicity was wrong, and they debased not only the judges, but the profession. So if you invite them, if they had invited them, they would have gone. These are respectable professionals. If EFCC invites me today, I will go. I'm not going to run away. So they will hear from me before they can now treat me that way. But they didn't go to invite them, and they didn't say they'll come. So that is what people are talking about, that it is highly unprofessional.
The Central Bank of Nigeria wants banks to take seriously all rules and regulations guiding the industry as against the quest to make more profit by all means. Thompson Oludare from CBN Banking Supervision Department disclosed this while speaking on the topic regulation requirement and their implication at the 2016 edition of Continuous Education Program for Directors of Banks and Other Financial Institutions. Oludare explained that the present economic crisis in the country calls for total submission to the regulators' rules. Now, the Managing Director of FITC, Lucy Newman, also supported this position, saying that banks and other financial institutions should be wary of neglecting the rules because they wanted to increase their profits.
Compliance has always been an issue that is close to the heart of CBN. By virtue of the CBN Act, you will see that its mandate will involve ensuring the safety and soundness of the financial system, and compliance, risk management, corporate governance, they are key aspects of this. The safety and soundness of the banking system is the collective responsibility of all of us. So everybody here in present would be expected to play his or her role to ensure that the financial system is safe. And I'm sure the MDs and all those represented here have that at the back of their minds.
Economic downturn as we are going through, financial institutions can come under pressure from the society, from stakeholders and from shareholders for performance. And in such a place where there are actually profit-making organizations, it's very easy to forget some of the key rules of the game. And for financial institutions, we all know that it's now a global financial system. There are standards for belonging to the international community and being valid as a jurisdiction. So this session is to help us remind us of former rules, new rules that have come out because of certain things that have happened in other parts of the world, so that we can continue to play by the rules. And even while pursuing our organizational mandates, we can still remain within the principles of these regulations. And then also to share experiences from the directors on the challenges that they have faced in meeting these regulations. If you can remember in my speech, I said most times financial institutions have done awesomely well in Nigeria. We've been very innovative, we've been very creative. And if some of our sectors can take some of the creativity that has happened in telecoms and financial services, this economy will not be where it is. However, whenever there's something wrong, the society is quick to question and condemn the financial institutions, not knowing that the financial institutions actually play a mediatory role and relate with the society and the members of the public. And sometimes they are actually victims of the society, because when there is corruption in the society, the individuals take advantage of the financial institutions. So as a community, we're always quick to condemn the financial system and the institutions, but we don't look at ourselves as the general public that see the financial institutions as a money pot to be defrauded, forgetting that the monies that are with the financial institutions are actually from individuals and they are trustees of those individuals. So perhaps this will help us to stay focused on all the areas so that we will not fall into infractions. We are also we're starting with general regulations, but we're zeroing in on money laundering and financing of terrorism.
ExxonMobil, the world's largest oil company by market value, has quit Nigeria's downstream oil sector, divesting its 60% stake in Mobil Oil Nigeria. In a statement circulated on Thursday, the company, which has a market value of $460 billion, says it made business sense to quit the downstream oil sector at this time. Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has cut the price of every variant of its crude oil by at least $1 per barrel in a bid to boost sales and regain market share. According to Bloomberg, the country has been recording a huge glut of cargoes, and traders had been complaining that the country's oil prices were not competitive for challenging times. Oil prices fell on Thursday after markets rallied the previous day due to a draw in U.S. talks and an expectation of an OPEC-led cut in production. U.S. crude oil futures were trading at $51 per barrel, while Brent crude futures were trading at $52 a barrel. Now, traders said that the price dips were a result of profit-taking following a rally the previous day, which saw WTI settle at a 15-month high, fueled, of course, by a reduction in U.S. crude stocks by 5.2 million barrels in the week ended October 14th to 468.7 million barrels. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has said he will not accept the results of the U.S. election. He will only accept the results, actually, of the U.S. election if he wins. He appeared at a rally in Delaware, Ohio, speaking for the first time since the third and final debate on Wednesday. Trump had come under fire during the debate for suggesting that he might not accept the election's outcome. His campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, later clarified that the candidate meant he would not concede until the results are actually known. The remark, which drew anger from some Republicans, is part of Trump's repeated claim that the election is rigged against him. The Ethiopian authorities have detained more than 1,600 people under the state of emergency, a government minister has said. A statement quoted by a state-affiliated website leased arrests in the Oroma and Amara regions, which have recently seen massive demonstrations. Now, this is in addition to Monday's arrest of 1,000 people near the capital. Ethiopia's decision to impose the state of emergency on October 9th has been strongly criticized by opposition activists who accuse the government of becoming increasingly repressive. The government blames the violence on terrorists and foreign enemies. To sports now, Nigeria's Super Eagles moved up 4 places to 60th position in the latest FIFA World Ranking. The Eagles, who had fallen to as low as 70th in July, also climbed to 11th in the African ranking. Now, the rise in the ranking follows a successful start to their 2018 World Cup qualifying campaign. The Eagles currently top their qualifying group with 3 points. That's 2 points ahead of Algeria and Cameroon, who played out a 1-1 draw in the other group game. Meanwhile, Argentina maintained its position as the top team in the world, while Germany and Brazil both moved up 1 place to 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Super Eagles midfielder Eugenio Onazi has threatened to drag his former club Lazio to the FIFA disciplinary committee over his outstanding unpaid wages. Onazi, who now plies his trade with Turkish outfit Trabzonspor, is being owed 2 months' salary by Lazio, and the player says he would be heading to FIFA to seek redress. Lazio are yet to comment on Onazi's claims and threats to drag them to FIFA. Onazi joined Lazio in 2011, making 76 appearances for the capital-based club before finally leaving for Turkey in August this year. Germany's Angelique Kerber will end the year as world number 1 after seeing off competition from multiple Grand Slam champion Serena Williams. Kerber took the number 1 spot in September after Serena crashed out of the U.S. Open after a shock semi-final defeat to Czech 10th-seed Karolina Pliskova. Kerber began the season by claiming her maiden Grand Slam title at the Australian Open in her first major final. She also advanced to the Wimbledon final, captured a silver medal in singles at the Rio Olympics, and claimed her 2nd Grand Slam title at the US Open. Well, that's it in news now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.